Hello, Front Porch family. It is obviously not the fundraiser. I'm not wearing what I was wearing at the fundraiser. I am in my backyard right now, but we had a little bit of a technical difficulty with the recording of not all of the speeches, but my speech specifically. The battery overheated. So we are recording it again so that those of you who missed it or those of you who wanted to hear it again would have the opportunity to do so. So I'm going to deliver the speech as if I was delivering it that night. And yeah, enjoy, share it, use it how you want. So, good evening, friends. What a night it has been. It truly was a magnificent night, and I can't tell you how much I look forward to this night every year because of how much energy and joy I walk away with from it. I always feel so known and so connected to others, and so much a part of something beautiful that is truly, I believe, helping to make this world a much better place. And I hope that you leave or that you left here feeling the exact same thing. I want to thank the people that made tonight possible. Sage for the beautiful music, Al for being the master of ceremonies tonight, and what a wonderful job he did, especially with the Al Pastor joke. Thank you to our speakers who have beautifully articulated their experiences with Front Porch and the impact that the space, the community has had on them. Danny, John, Callie, Sophie, you all did phenomenal, and your speeches were so moving and articulate. Thank you to our table sponsors who helped fund tonight. It wouldn't have been possible without you. Thank you to Charlie, who wasn't here but was able to get us the wine from Harmony and Castoro Cellars. Thank you to the venue, the amazing job that you did. To our board of directors for all that you did. Thank you to the students, the ones who truly make Front Porch what it is every single day. Without you, this would not happen. As I tell them every Wednesday and every opportunity I have, if they didn't come and participate in Front Porch wouldn't be Front Porch. The students truly are the thing. They are Front Porch. They embody it. And to you, our donors, the people who believe in this thing and what we are doing, without you, none of this happens. So thank you for giving up your Saturday evening to be here. Just about 70 years ago, in 1956, Ray and Clara here, who had recently married, moved to San Luis Obispo and into the home that once stood where the Front Porch building would eventually be built at 1468 East Foothill Boulevard, a home that had just been purchased by the Presbyterian denomination. For context, that very same year, Cal Poly returned to being a co-ed university with about 3,800 students after women had been banned from the university in 1929 and now were being readmitted. Ray was a Presbyterian pastor, and he and Clara had a passion for coming alongside people, specifically college students, and helping to make sure they knew how much they mattered, how valuable their life was, and what a force for good that they could be in this world, regardless of what society or culture said about them. During Ray's time in this position, one of the biggest tragedies in Cal Poly's history occurred on October 29th, 1960. The Cal Poly football team was flying home from Ohio when the plane crashed, killing 22 of the 48 people on board, including 16 members of the football team. That evening, Ray went and met with many students in the dormitories as they were in shock over what had just happened. Ray was asked to deliver a meditation 2 days later at a gathering of over 7,000 people from the campus community that was said to have brought a sense of calm to the campus. It's probably not that hard to imagine that San Luis Obispo during this time was not a friendly place to people of color in the 1950s. During Ray and Clara's time in SLO, the county had condemned the housing of 30 black families that left them without a home. Ray helped to create and lead a coalition of people who worked tirelessly to find them housing. They explored every available vacancy in SLO to find excuse after excuse of why the families could not move into those vacant homes. The coalition finally came to the realization that, well, we can just house them ourselves, and so that's what they did. Ray and Clara had two different families move into their small home to live with them, converting their garage into a living space. And for the next year, they shared their home with those who were in desperate need. According to Ray, one of the neighbors on Foothill would repeatedly say to any one of the other neighbors who would listen, "It was a dark day when they sold that house to the Presbyterians." Needless to say, the neighbors on the street did not approve, but that didn't stop Ray and Clara. Ray and Clara started their family during those years, two of their three daughters being born here in San Luis Obispo. In 1964, they would move on and out of SLO, but it was those early years at Cal Poly and the work that they were doing with college students that would live on and be carried with their family as a reminder of what this whole thing called life that we get to do is really about. And it was those first 9 years with Ray and Clara living at the place where Front Porch now stands that would lay a foundation for what it is that we do today. Well, in late September, I received an email from the eldest of Ray's three daughters saying that they were all three getting together to do a road trip, and they wanted to come by this place that the three of them had never all collectively been back to since they were very young children. And so on the morning of October 8th, I greeted Ray's three daughters and one of his son-in-laws in the Front Porch parking lot as they quickly began telling me story after story about their childhood time there, while I shared with them what Front Porch has become and the journey that it has taken to get here. All three of the daughters are right around 70 years of age, and whenever I am sharing about Front Porch with people of older generations who I know are coming from a background of the Christian faith tradition, I am never quite certain what their response will be to what it is that we do and how we do it, if it will fit into their outlook on the world. And so I always ease my way into the conversation, closely following their facial expressions and nonverbal cues as they react to what I say. So I slowly began to describe to them how Front Porch began to change 13 years ago when we transitioned to be an organization that didn't focus on telling people what they should believe in order to ensure their comfort in the afterlife or to get them to adhere to a certain line of theological thinking or certain doctrines and creeds, but instead decided that we were going to be an organization that focused on what we believe mattered most, where we began putting every ounce of our energy into being a light in this world that can so often be full of darkness. A beacon of hope, a beacon of joy, a beacon of goodness, of empathy that creates space for growth and creativity and openness and acceptance of love. And as I was sharing all of this, their eyes all lit up, and I noticed the smiles on their faces as they kept looking at each other and then back at me, and the tears that began forming in the corner of their eyes. And I read these cues and I kept going with more and more excitement growing within me in my descriptions of this community called Front Porch. And we kept talking for 2 hours as I got to show them the space filled to the brim with students that now stood where their home once stood. And when I finished, they all three looked at me and one by one started telling me how overjoyed they were to hear about what this whole thing had become. That their dad Ray and their mom Clara would have been so excited to be a part of something like this and would have been right there in the middle of it all, connecting with students. They then told me how proud they were of me and how this thing is truly embodying what Jesus invited people to be in this world. And I can't put into words how that made me feel. Over the past 13 years, as Front Porch took on this new identity, there have been multiple people, as well as some churches, that have backed away from supporting Front Porch, even some the very day after coming to one of these fundraisers. And every time it happens, I am filled with a mixture of thoughts and emotions. Most of my thoughts are, you know what? That's okay. We see things a little differently, and we don't want people supporting us that don't truly believe in what we are doing. But a small part of me asks, are we doing the right thing? I get told things like, Front Porch has become too political because we are open and affirming and accepting of all people, because we hang a progressive pride flag and a Black Lives Matter flag behind our coffee bar, because we hang a sign in our entryway that says, we welcome people of all races and ethnicities, faiths, beliefs, and spiritual traditions, countries of origin and immigration journeys, sexual orientations, gender and gender identities, abilities, and neurodiversities. And I guess somehow welcoming all people and affirming who they are as human beings has somehow turned into becoming too political. I get told things like, Front Porch has moved away from Jesus, and Joel, we aren't even actually sure you're a Christian anymore. All you and this organization do is love people. But then people like Ray Here's Daughters remind me that not only do they love what we are doing, but that their dad, who was the very first Presbyterian minister who lived on the site where Front Porch now stands, would have loved and supported what we are doing with every ounce of his being. He would have been right in the middle of it with the biggest smile on his face. I got to go to 2 weddings this summer of people who met during their time at Front Porch as they asked me to officiate their wedding, which has become a common summer occurrence for me, which I love. And over the course of the weekend, I got to hear the couple talk about Front Porch to their families and friends and articulate the impact that it has continued to have on their lives, even though they haven't been a part of the day-to-day Front Porch community for years. And then I got to have their family and friends come up to me over the course of the weekend and ask me question after question after question about this magical reality that has not only made a profound impact on these 2 people getting married, but on them and their lives as well, even though they've never stepped foot in the building. I had a student this past Wednesday night pull me aside and tell me as tears formed in her eyes, Joel, I can't thank you enough for what you and this place have done for me. You have given me a place where I finally feel safe. Students every year leave notes on my desk like this one that reads, I have yet to deeply think about Front Porch without it bringing tears to my eyes. There is something truly special about this place. Front Porch is a place that I hold so dearly because I feel like Front Porch held me. Front Porch as an entity, the physical space and the people within it, held me in the comfort of their arms and always provided the support I needed that day. I've had most of my laughs and most of my cries of college in this space. I feel so lucky to have been a part of something that gives and receives love so fiercely. Front Porch is something I would go to the ends of the earth for. This is a community unlike anything else I have ever experienced. It has truly changed my life. We live in a time where I am reminded daily of how easily people turn something good and beautiful into something that is so far removed from that. I think many people who are a part of the Christian faith tradition within our country forget that what Jesus was doing was not about theology or doctrine or performing right religious practices, and for sure had nothing to do with nationalism. It was about creating a space for light. It was reminding people in a world that regularly seeks to put people's light out that they are a light of immeasurable value, that they matter, and that not only do they bear light, but to recognize that there is a light within others as well as a light between us all. A light that is trying to connect us and move us all towards something better. And so that is why Front Porch does what it does. We invite people to recognize the light that is within ourselves, to see the light and learn from the light within others, and to be a light in this world. We create a space where societal walls that get built between us can get taken down, a space that then mirrors and magnifies people's light when they can't see it in themselves, a space that just keeps putting more love out into this world. What started with the Presbyterian denomination buying the property at 1468 East Foothill Boulevard in 1952, and then Ray and Clara moving into the home 4 years later, has turned into a thriving community of over 500 students a day filling our space, thousands per week, 300 volunteers making the magic happen every day, and regularly telling me that their volunteer hour that they have once a week is their favorite part of their entire week. And we just keep providing space and opportunities for students to feel connected, to feel known, and to feel loved. We shine like a bright light in this community through our weekly community meals, our regular camping trips, our open mic nights, our volunteer events, our weekly recess clubs, our art Mondays, and more than anything, just the space itself and the way that it wraps its arms around you and holds you. And students' lives are changed, not momentarily, but forever. They begin to see more clearly the light that they carry, the light within others, the light in their community, the light in this world and around them than they ever have before. I have now been here at Front Porch 13 years. I have devoted over a quarter of my life to this thing, this organization, and I have been all in from day one. I am obsessed with Front Porch, truly obsessed. I have poured all of myself into it because I believe with every ounce of who I am that every single person on this planet needs a community like Front Porch in our lives. And I could not have done it without so many of you who are in this room tonight, and so many people who are not in this room that laid the foundation for the thing that Front Porch has become, people like Ray and Clara. And although I wish we were able to provide something like Front Porch to everyone, the reality is we are lucky enough to get to provide it for a few thousand college students each year in this small corner of the planet called San Luis Obispo. If you look throughout history, the major changes for the betterment of our human race began in small corners of the world with people who just kept believing that there was a better way forward. And then those same people committed their lives and resources to that cause. Front Porch is busier than ever. There are more people who are a part of it today than ever before in its history. And I know I say that every year, but it just keeps growing. And every year we keep raising a significant amount of money to keep this thing called Front Porch SLO running. I wish money wasn't a part of all of it and didn't have to be, but it is. It's the way that our society, our world works. We need the money to pay the staff. We need the money to do everything we do, which is and will remain free. We need the extended Front Porch family, you, to make it happen again for this next year. Our budget for 2025 is $396,000. Every year we plan for about 45% of our budget to come in between November 1st and the end of December. So our target for the next 60 days is $175,000. We once again have this incredibly generous anonymous donor who believes in Front Porch so much so that he gave us $50,000 as a matching gift, which will hit in 2026's budget. So I would love to see us not only match that $50,000 tonight, but far exceed it so that combined with whatever we receive tonight, our upcoming Giving Tuesday campaign and our year-end giving, that we will make budget. Last year at this event, just for context, we were able to raise just over $90,000, and we still ended the year $30,000 in the red, which I am hoping will not happen this year. This behind-the-scenes community has always stepped up. and I expect no different this year. You have believed in me, you have believed in the staff, in this organization, in the students, in this next generation who fill it every day, and we believe in you. We believe in your generosity. The students sitting at your tables believe in your generosity. I believe in this family and the light that shines from it. What other organization is accomplishing what Front Porch is doing? Loving, accepting, and affirming this generation in such a profound way that our space is beyond capacity nearly every hour of the day. What better time than the time that we are living in right now for an organization like Front Porch to exist? A space that daily gives each student one giant, loving embrace that holds them and reminds them of their immeasurable worth, their immeasurable light, providing what parents like me long for their children. Front Porch is a conduit through which divine love flows freely every single day. Your giving is an investment that is truly transforming students' lives in a way like I have never seen before by any other organization, and I want to see it continue, and I'm guessing that you do as well. So please give tonight, whatever you can. Give freely, give generously, so that students, thousands of them, most of whom you will probably never meet, can experience the light that shines through Front Porch, where their life is forever changed and our world is truly made a better place. I truly hope after I am long gone from Front Porch and from this earth, that it will always be known as a place that just loves people. What better description could there be? Thank you.